Imagine this. You wake up, open X, and see two breaking posts at the top of your feed. Anthropic announces Claude Opus 4.6, boasting a 1 million token context, and agent teams built for huge code bases and research workflows. Almost back to back, OpenAI announces GPT-5.3 Codex, their most agentic coding model yet. Two frontier models, two completely different philosophies about how AI should help you build software. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which one deserves your money. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, this is Sumantra Codes, where modern AI meets real-world software engineering and actual dev workflows. Today, we are comparing GPT 5.3 Codex and Claude Opus 4.6 through 4 lenses. First, core philosophy, the operator versus the team, killer aspects, speed versus memory, benchmarks, execution versus reasoning and retrieval, practical verdict, which subscription model should you choose? Let's start with how each model thinks about helping you write and ship code. Think of GPT 5.3 Codex as a hyper-competent operator sitting at your keyboard, wired directly into your OS. OpenAI describes it as their most capable agentic coding model so far. Not just code completion, but an agent that can work on your computer end to end. It edits and refactors files across a repo, runs terminal command and manages Git workflows, debugs infra, manipulates spreadsheet and slides, even interact with dashboards. A few key philosophical points. First, it's a powerful agent with high autonomy. The design assumption is you spin up one very strong agent and let it plan its steps, use tools such as terminal, browser, file systems, and report progress while it executes. You are supervising, but it is doing the hands-on work for you. Second, concrete recursive self-improvement. OpenAI's own blog says early version of GPT 5.3 Codex helped build GPT 5.3 Codex. It was used to debug issues in its own training runs, build internal tools to analyze its behavior, and automate part of its own evaluation and deployment. That's real, documented weak recursive self-improvement. The model is good enough at the tooling and analysis to accelerate development of its successors. Third, it feels like an extension of your hands. In the Codex app or a CLI or VS Code extension, it streams responses quickly. It explains what it's doing while it edits file or runs command. You can interrupt, correct, and redirect mid-task. So philosophically, Codex is the operator. Let me drive your terminal, editor, and apps. I'll act, you steer. Claude Opus 4.6 takes a very different angle. Anthropic positions it as their smartest Opus class model, tuned for long horizon agentic workflows, built to handle large code bases and research workloads with agent teams and a 1 million token context window. What are agent teams? Inside Claude Code, you can spin up multiple Claude agents working on the same project. One agent focuses on front-end, another on back-end services, another on test, and another on security or documentation. A lead agent coordinates subtasks, merges results, and escalates important decisions back to you. That workflow is best for read-heavy, repo-wide tasks such as audits, refactors, architecture changes. Anthropic also shares a concrete stress test. In their Building a C compiler with a team of parallel Claude's blog, they describe using a team of parallel Claude agents in Claude Code to build a Rust-based C compiler that can compile the Linux kernel, version Linux 6.9, on multiple architectures. Over thousands of sessions, those agents collectively produced nearly 100K line code base. That's a serious real-world multi-agent experiment, not a toy demo. Philosophically, Opus 4.6 is the team. You are the tech lead. I'll give you a coordinated team of agents that can fan out across your repo and talks in parallel. So, before any benchmarks, if you want one ultra-strong operator, that's the Codex mindset. Or if you want to manage a squad of AI devs, that's the Opus 4.6 mindset. On the speed axis, OpenAI is very explicit. GPT 5.3 Codex is 25% faster for Codex user than GPT 5.2 Codex, thanks to inference and infra improvements. It also posts large gain on OS World Verified, a benchmark that measures how well an agent can perform tasks on a desktop environment. The headline for developer is Terminal Bench 2.0. According to OpenAI's own table, Terminal Bench 2.0, which is a Linux terminal task, GPT 5.3 Codex scored 77.3%, while GPT 5.2 Codex scored 64% and GPT 5.2 scored 62.2%. Terminal Bench 2.0 is a real command line benchmark for Git operations, file searches, text editing, dependency and build tooling, debugging tests, and fixing CLI level issues. So what does that feel like? You issue a command like fix this failing CI job or refactor this script into a reusable CLI tool. Codex open the right files, modifies them, run test and other commands, iterate until success with fewer dead ends. If your bottleneck is waiting for model or constantly fixing its broken shell command, that 77.3% terminal bench score plus 25% speed boost is a big deal. On the memory axis, Claude Opus 4.6 does something unique. From Anthropic release, the standard context token is 200k tokens. But new 1 million token context window, which is in beta with up to 128k output tokens for very long responses. But size alone isn't enough. The question is, does it stay accurate at 1 million? This is where MRCR v2 comes in. MRCR v2 is a long context multi-needle in a haystack benchmark. You hide multiple target snippets or needles across a very long context text up to 1 million tokens and ask the model to retrieve specific ones. On the 8-needle 1 million token variant, Opus 4.6 achieves 76% retrieval accuracy, while Claude Sonnet 4.5 achieves 18.5%. That's more than a 4 times jump in long context retrieval. In practical terms, you can feed entire monorepo, thousands of pages of legal or financial docs, a large research corpus, and Opus 4.6 can still reliably pull the correct details from the deep inside that context instead of hallucinating based only on the beginning of the prompt. Anthropic also layers on context compaction, which is also in beta mode, which automatically compresses older conversations or history so long-running sessions don't just hit a hard wall, and adaptive thinking and effort levels. You can tell Opus how hard to think: low, faster, and cheaper; max, deeper reasoning for given query. So, if your workloads are fast, iterative shell tasks, Codex speed matter more. If your workflows are read this entire repo and then reason about it, Opus 4.6 1 million usable context dominates. Codex strengths can be summarized into 2 words: execution and cyber. From OpenAI's benchmarks such as Terminal Bench 2.0, Codex is the new high watermark at 77.3%. For OS World Verified, significantly higher scores than GPT 5.2 Codex, meaning better multi-step desktop automation. Cybersecurity CTF style task benchmark about 77.6% success, up from roughly 67% for previous models. And importantly, OpenAI labels GPT 5.3 Codex as their first high-capacity cybersecurity model under preparedness framework. They have tuned it specifically to identify vulnerabilities and paired it with a trusted access for cyber program, the Aardvark security research agent, and $10 million in cybersecurity credits for defensive work. So, if you're doing DevOps or SRE work in the shell, or running AppSec or DevSecOps workflows, or building agents that must manipulate real systems safely, Codex 5.3 is currently the more targeted tool. On the reasoning and knowledge work side, Opus 4.6 leads. There are 2 big signals for this. First, MRCR v2 long context retrieval. So, the 76% of the 1 million token 8-needle setting versus 18.5% for Claude Sonnet 4.5 as Anthropic highlights in their launch write-up. That matters when you say things like, here is our entire 6 service architectures plus docs. Now propose a migration plan and call out risky areas. The next one is GDP Val AA for economically valuable tasks. GDP Val AA is an independent benchmark that evaluates model on real-world knowledge work tasks such as presentations, analysis, and reports, and assign an LO rating. On the current leaderboard, Claude Opus 4.6 with adaptive reasoning sits at 1606 LO score, Opus 4.6 with non-reasoning at 1579 LO, and GPT 5.2 at 1462 LO. Anthropic summarizes this as roughly plus 144 LO edge over GPT 5.2 on these multi-step tasks. Their launch post also notes that Opus 4.6 leads on BrowseCom, hard web search task, Humanity Last Exam, a frontier reasoning benchmark. So, if your typical tasks look like summarize and cross-compare these 20 regulatory PDF against our code base, or propose an architecture change based on the entire repo and product roadmap, or generate a board-ready deck and spreadsheet financial model from raw data and docs, Opus 4.6 is built for that long context, multi-step reasoning and is currently winning the independent evals. Let's compress all of this into two simple profiles. Profile 1. If you are a solo dev, indie hacker, or a small team engineer living inside VS Code, NeoVim, Docker, and your terminal, and constantly shipping features, fixing CI, infra, running scripts and experiments, doing quick security checks, you care most about latency and responsiveness, having AI as a direct extension of your hands in the terminal and editor. Then your primary subscription should be GPT 5.3 Codex because it's 25 faster than GPT 5.2 Codex for Codex users. It leads Terminal Bench 2.0 with 77.3%, best current terminal agent in OpenAI's own measurement. It's OpenAI's first high-capacity cybersecurity model with programs and safeguards designed around real security work. You can still keep a small Claude budget for rare 1 million context jobs, but Codex should be your default. And if you are a staff or a principal engineer, architect, consultant, or researcher dealing with legacy code bases spread across services and languages, or migrations and large refactors, or huge document sets, compliance, contracts, specs, research papers, you care most about global understanding of large systems, deep correct reasoning over long context, producing serious artifacts, design docs, audit reports, financial, legal analysis, then your primary subscription should be Claude Opus 4.6 because first, it offers a 1 million token context window in beta mode and actually performs at that size, 76% MRCR V2 at 1 million versus 18.5% for Sonnet 4.5. It tops GDP eval AA at 1606 LO, roughly 144 LO above GPT 5.2, making it the current leader for economically valuable knowledge work. Its agent teams and proven parallel workflows like the C compiler project makes it ideal for repo-wide changes and audits. So a realistic combo for many of you might be a Codex as your day-to-day operator and Opus 4.6 as your deep thinking big context specialist. If budget forces you to choose one, so if you are mostly into hands-on coding, you choose Codex, and if you are mostly into architectures, audits, and research, you should go with Opus 4.6. So now it's your turn. Are you more of a solo sprinter or an enterprise architect? Tell me in comments which model you're keeping as your main subscription this year and what your actual workload looks like. That will really help others devs making the right call for their stack. If this helped clarify the choices for you, hit like and subscribe to Sumantra Codes for more deep, benchmark-driven breakdowns of tools that actually changes how we code. Thank you for watching.